In Alabama, this was a story that just, broke, interestingly. I'm pretty sure it was on MSNBC like last week, that there was this police department down in Alabama where the police chief, Mike Jones, and a bunch of the officers were basically making big bucks on traffic stops that were completely bogus. They would stop people for running a red light or running a stop sign when they actually stopped for the stop sign. They were just like making things up, and had acquired hundreds of thousands of dollars in fines for the city. I mean, some huge portion of the city's budget, or at least the police departments, and they were using this money to pay themselves well and buy new toys and all kinds of stuff, was from this. Well, that scandal broke. And that Alabama Police Department chief, Mike Jones, Brookside, Alabama, resigned yesterday or the day before, earlier this week. But with his resignation, now the citizens of Brookside are starting to say, okay, he's been taken down. We're not terrified anymore. So we're going to tell you what actually happened when this guy was police chief. And this should be a cautionary tale for all of America, frankly. He was literally threatening people with arrest for posting on Facebook that they thought that the ticket was inappropriate, that they actually stopped for the stop sign and they got a ticket anyway. This one woman, Michelle Jones, she said, quote, "He threatened me with an arrest if I did not take down my Facebook pictures and posts to their police officers or stop sending emails to local politicians show them, the Brookside police, that I understand law enforcement practices." It's amazing. She was ticketed in May of 2019 for running a stop sign, which she insists she didn't do. After she paid the $160 fine, she began complaining to public officials, a local TV station, and posting on Facebook. And then, quote, this is what she told the Attorney General's office. Detective Johnson had called. Now, this is not the Chief Jones. This is a guy who's apparently still with the police department. Detective Johnson had called and asked that I come to the Brookside Police Department to talk with them. After I told him I would not, he reported that they have 2 warrants for my arrest. He stated that I had issued threats, I had incited a riot, and I had slandered the Brookside Police Department in my Facebook posts. He reported that his police chief was mad. Right. Others have reported similar experiences, including Alabama Senate candidate Lisa Ward, who posted on Facebook about getting a ticket and saying this is wrong. And, then she gets harassed by the department. Another one, a Brookside man, told Alabama.com that he was pulled over a couple of days after complaining on Facebook about his own ticket. Now, he stops at a stop sign. He gets a ticket for not stopping, even though he did stop. He complains on Facebook about it, and they stop him again. And the cop comes up to his car the second time that he stopped and says, and I quote, "The police chief's pretty upset about that post you put on Facebook. Any more backlash like that toward our police department, and it'll be worse, far worse than a ticket." And the guy who did the post said, I just stared at him. I was looking at him like, so this is what this stop is about? You just stopped me to threaten me? Yep. Conservatives for years and years have made this point that government is the only institution in America that legally has the power to kill you, that legally has the power to imprison you. I can't do it. You can't do it. A company can't do it. Only government can do it. And therefore, and I've said conservatives have made this argument. Hell, this was an argument that was made at the Constitutional Convention. Therefore, government has to be constrained. That's why we have the Bill of Rights. That's why we have the Constitution that limits the powers of government. As Barack Obama said back in 2008 when he was running for president, it's a negative Bill of Rights for the government. Now, Republicans went nuts because they didn't have any friggin' clue what he was talking about. But it limits the power of government. This is why. And obviously something broke down here in Alabama. And I'm willing to bet that Alabama is not the only place in the country where this sort of thing is going on. And I guess this is kind of the upside of social media now, because people can complain about it, but on the one hand, but on the other hand, I mean, most of these complaints go back to 2018, 2019. This is 2022. So this police department has been terrorizing their own community and sucking them dry in the process for what, half a decade or longer? This is, you know, yesterday I was talking about we need, or maybe it was the day before, we need to have a conversation in the United States about crime. We also need, it was yesterday, we also need to have a conversation about policing in this country. And that's what I was encouraging Democrats to do, is say we need to reform policing. We're not going to defund the police. We're going to fix the police. And it starts with, you know, ending these kinds of abuses.